Hello everyone, Seago here, and today we're going to look at Holy Pally. This is my guide for Holy Pally for Prepatch 7.0. So, before Legion hits, this is what you need to know about your Holy Paladin. Now, Holy Paladins are unique in the way that they specialize in tank and single target healing. They're not that great at, say, AoE healing. They really don't have that great. They don't have Tranquility or like Divine Hymn, for example, for cooldowns to make you a good, powerful AoE healer. But they make up for that for very powerful tank healing and single target healing. They also have a bunch of tools that help them with that. So they have different abilities to mitigate damage or avoid damage completely on themselves or other party members. So mostly it would be your tanks, for example. Now, for the changes to Holy Pally in 7.0, there has been a couple changes to Holy Paladin if you've played them before. So, Holy Power has completely been removed from the game. Or, not from the game, but for Holy Paladins and Prop Paladins, right? The Paladins still have them. And mana is the only resource now for Holy Paladins. Seals have been removed for Holy Paladins. Holy Radiance and Denounce have been removed, so no more. As you can see, Holy Paladins lost one of their AoEs with Radiance. Mastery has been redesigned. So Mastery now, it now increases healing to targets the closer they are to you. So the closer you are to a target, the more healing they get from a Holy Paladin. And Holy Paladins did get a new instant heal, insta-cast still called Light of the Martyr, which heals your target and damages you for 50%. So it's a pretty cool little ability. So let's go ahead and drop in here, and first we'll go ahead and take a look at your stats. Okay, so of course, as for every healer, Intellect's your one that increases his healing pretty much. But your stat priority is Critical Strike. You want that first. Mastery. Versatility, you all know how I feel about that. And then haste is the last one you should really focus on. So you want crit and mastery pretty much for everything. So if you can find gear that has crit and mastery on it, that's awesome right there. So that's pretty much it for Holy Paladin on the stats. Nothing too special. Crit's been an important stat for Holy Paladins for a long time. And I believe Mastery was 2, if I remember. Like, I know one of these stats you have to get to a certain percent. And right now we're not worrying too much about certain percents because Legion is coming soon. So there you go on that. But let's go ahead and look at your talents for Holy Paladin. So let's bring that up here. Okay, so your level 15 talents are Bestow Faith, which infuses a friendly target with faith for 5 seconds, healing them for such and such at the end. So this is kind of like you put this on a target that you know is going to take damage pretty soon, and after 5 seconds, they'll explode in health. Light's Hammer hurls a light-infused hammer into the ground, where it blasts a 10-yard radius every 2 seconds for 14 seconds. Each blast deals such and such holy damage to enemies and heals up to 6 allies. So this has been in the game for a while. It's a pretty AoE heal / damage ability. And you have Crusader's Mind. Crusader's Strike reduces the cooldown of Holy Shock and Light On by 1.5 seconds. So the clear choice for this talent, this tier, is Bestow Faith. Mostly due to the fact that none of the other choices in particular, are that great. You can take Light's Hammer if, like, the pattern of the damage fits. Like, if it's a heavy AoE damage fight, then you could take it. And Crusaders might just don't take it. It's not worth it right now. There's absolutely no reason to take it. Okay, your level 30 talent, you have Cavalier. Divine Steed now has 2 charges, so your Divine Steed ability, your movement-based ability has 2 charges. Unbreakable Spirit reduces the cooldown of Divine Shield, Divine Protection, and Lay on Hands by 30%. And you have Rule of Law. Increases the range of your heals and the reach of Mastery Lightbringer by 50% for 10 seconds. Now, the choice for this depends on your situation. If you believe that you will need the extra range increase, choose Rule of Law. That's that one right there. Aside from increases the range of your heals, it also increases the radius in which your mastery can reach. So it's not a bad spell. Otherwise, if you're looking for more mobility, Cavalier is the way to go. And Unbreakable Spirit can help you give you more room for errors in a fight, especially if you're not familiar with that fight and are looking for extra survivability. So that's it for that talents. Your level 45s, these are all your stuns and stuff. These are all situational, and it's up to you when you want to take them. I'm not going to go too much into these guys. Chances of using these in a raid environment are not likely. Your level 60 now. This is an interesting tier of talents here. Let's go ahead and talk about them. Devotion Aura. Allies within 10 yards take 20% reduced damage split over the number of allies in the aura. While Aura Mastery is activated, all affected allies gain the full damage reduction. And Aura Mastery is this ability right here, which empowers your chosen aura and increases radius to 40 yards for 6 seconds. And of course, Aura of Mercy, which the one I have chosen right now, we'll talk about in a second. Aura of Sacrifice. When you are above 75% health, 10% of all damage taken by allies within 10 yards is redirected to you. While Aura Mastery is activated, 10% of all effective healing you deal is replicated to all allies in the aura. Then you have Aura of Mercy, which restores 981 health to 3 injured allies within 10 yards every 1 second. While Aura Mastery is activated, heals all allies in the aura instead of 3, and healing is increased by 100%. Now, there's been some debates about which ones to take. But for starters, you will not take Aura of Sacrifice. You just won't. It's not that great right now. Devotion Aura and Aura of Mercy are pretty heavily debated right now in the Holy Paladin community. A lot of them are saying right now take Aura of Mercy because the healing that you can get, that the general passive AoE heal you're doing is pretty good. Plus when Aura Mastery is activated, it's going to heal everyone and is increased by 100%. But Devotion Aura, Devo Aura, it's kind of backing away. And all allies within 10 yards take 20% reduced damage. It is split. But if you know your group's a fight that's having mass AoE ability every 3 minutes, that's when you can use this. It's going to come out. Well, Devotion Aura might be the way to go because it reduces damage taken by 20% for everyone. Again, it's debated. It's been debated over and over again which one is better. Right now I'm going Aura of Mercy, but I could see a couple fights where you will be going Devotion Aura and Legion. Which we'll talk more about that kind of stuff when Legion actually launches in a week and a half. So almost there, guys. Your level 75 talents. Divine Purpose, Light of Dawn, and Holy Shock have a 50% chance to not start their cooldowns and make their next cast free. You'll never take this because RNG is RNG and your healer and RNG is bad. Holy Avenger increases your haste by 30% and your Holy Shock healing by 30% for 20 seconds. 1.5 minute cooldown. Holy Prism. A beam of light turns the target into a Holy Prism. An enemy target takes such and such holy damage and radiates such and such healing to the 5 nearby allies within 15 yards. A friendly target is sealed for such and radiates such and such holy damage to 5 nearby enemies within 15 yards. Now, in this tier, Holy Prism is probably the best choice, provided you have to use it against an enemy. Don't use it on a friendly target. You need to use it on an enemy. On the other hand, you could take Holy Avenger if you think you need more healing cooldowns in order to do burst healing. Personally, I like Holy Prism better. As of right now, there's nothing that's going to be burst damaging, but again, if there's a burst damage fight in Legion raids, you might want to go Holy Avenger. Okay, your level 90 talents. We're not going to talk about this one because it's not worth taking. Okay, let's see. Sanctified Wrath. Avenging Wrath lasts 50% longer, and it also reduces Holy Shock's cooldown by 50% for its duration. And Judgment of Light. Judgment now applies Judgment of Life to the target, causing the next 40 successful attacks against the target to heal the attacker for war. Such as such, this effect will occur once per second on each target. Now, this tier does come down to these two. If like, say, your Paladin is already providing Judgment of Light, actually, I screwed that up. So, pretty much right now, if you're the only Holy Paladin, Judgment of Light would probably be the better one to take. Sanctified Wrath is good too. Because, again, Avenging lasts a little bit longer, and that's a healing per second cooldown. So, it's pretty much up to you. I'm taking Sanctified Wrath right now because I like it better. That's just me personally. I think it's a better talent myself. Judgment Alive is just something else you have to keep track of. Pretty much. And you're level 100 talents, so Beacon of Faith you'll never take. End of story. Beacon of the Lightbringer. Mastery Lightbringer now increases your healing based on the target's proximity to either you or your Beacon of Light, whichever is closer. The healing and range of Light of Dawn are increased by 30%. So your mastery now affects Beacon of Light. So if Beacon of Light's on your tank, which it should be, well, guess what? The people who are close to, say if you're in range and you have your Beacon of Light on the tank, well, your melee are going to get the same amount of healing as your range would, since you're both you and your Beacon is close. Beacon of Virtue applies the Beacon of Light to your target and 3 injured allies within 30 yards for 8 seconds. Your heals will heal all of them for 40% of the amount healed. For this tier, Beacon of Virtue is good in a 5-man setting, but Beacon of the Lightbringer is just better in a raid setting. And a discussion there. That's all you need to know about that tier. So, let's go to your abilities, your rotation, and we'll talk about your cooldowns. So first we'll talk about Beacon of Light. Let's bring it up in the spell book, shall we? Here we go. Beacon of Light you put on a tank. Place the Beacon of Light on a friendly target. Your heals on other party array members will also heal the Beacon of Light target for up to 40% of the amount healed. Your Flash of Light and your Holy Light on the Beacon of Light target will also refund 30% of their mana cost. So there you go. You put it on the tank. You can heal other people while that's healing the tank, or if you need to, like, Flash of Light a tank. There you go. Holy Shock. Here we go. Triggers a burst of light on the target, dealing such and such holy damage to an enemy or such and such healing to an ally. Holy Shock has double the normal critical strike chance. So it's a big healing ability. It's affected by your haste, so it can be lower too. Bestow Faith is a talent we already talked about. And let's talk about Holy Light now. Where are you, Holy Light? Holy Light. A slow but effective spell, healing a friendly target for such and such. And we also have to talk about Flashlight. A quick but expensive spell, healing friendly target. So, Holy Light you want to do when low damage is going out. And Flash of Light for a lot more damage as needed. But remember, Flash of Light costs a lot more mana than Holy Light. So keep that in mind. You don't always just want to go crazy with spamming Flash of Light. Let's also talk about... We can talk about Judgment, which we all know what Judgment does. Judges the target, dealing such and such holy damage and causing the target to take 30% increased damage from a Crusader Strike and a Holy Shock for 6 seconds. Now, for this ability, if you took that, if you took Judgment of Light, you're going to want to use every time it's on cooldown. So that's pretty much it if you took Judgment of Light. So I should talk about Light of Dawn here. This is your like only AoE ability you'll be clicking, which unleashes a wave of holy energy, healing up to 5 injured allies within a 19-second frontal cone for such and such. That's pretty simple. Now, so let's talk about Light of the Martyr, which is your new spell they added in Legion. Sacrifice a portion of your own health to instantly heal an ally for such and such. You take damage equal to 50% of the healing done. Does not cause your beacon of light to be healed. Cannot be cast on yourself. So you can heal someone and also take damage. You're also going to damage yourself by doing this. This is a pretty good, useful, quick heal if you need it, because it does like you don't have to. It's not a. You don't have to cast it. It's instant. So, but remember, you will be taking damage when you cast this. So let's talk about your cooldowns. So you have a couple different cooldowns here. You have Avenging Wrath, which we're not going to use that. We're going to use this one. Imbues you with Wrathful Light, increasing healing done by 35%, and your critical strike chance by 20%, and reduces the cooldown of Holy Shock by 50% for 30 seconds. So you pop this, and you get increased healing, and your critical strike chance goes up, and it reduces the cooldown of Holy Shock. Simple. Lay on Hands, this is your... Oh crap, this guy might die in a second, better pop this. Heals a friendly target for an amount equal to your maximum health. Cannot be used on a target with forbearance. Causes forbearance for 30 seconds. Let's see, talk about Aura Mastery, which empowers your chosen aura and increases its radius to 40 yards for 6 seconds. I have Aura of Mercy, which has no target limit, and healing increased by 100%. And of course you have Blessing of Sacrifice. Places a blessing on a party or raid member, transferring 30% of the damage taken to you for 12 seconds, or until transferred damage would cause you to fall below 20% health. Tank would usually be calling for this, so they take reduced damage. You would communicate with your tank, or your tank would communicate with you when they need it. Blessing of Protection. Places a blessing on the party or raid member, protecting them from all physical attacks for 10 seconds. Again, you would communicate with, say, a tank or someone who would really need it. Again, communication is key on who would need what. And you have Blessing of Freedom, which place a blessing on a party or raid member, granting immunity to movement and appearing effects for 8 seconds. Again, simple enough. If something stuns you, or a party member, Blessing of Freedom is the way to go. You also have Divine Protection, which reduces all damage you take by 20 seconds for 8 seconds. This is your own personal cooldown. And you have Divine Shield, protects you from all damage and spells for 8 seconds. And you can now use these and keep casting or attacking at the same time. So, happy days. But yeah, I believe... Make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. And Reckoning's a taunt. You don't really... Divine Seed is the one that summons your mount, so... This is your movement ability here. That right there. Simple enough. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything else. We talked about Beacon of Light. That's your... Hammer of Justice is your son. That's the talent I chose. I have 2 beacons on there for some reason. Oh well. Well, yeah, that's it for the abilities. Let's talk about your healing priority / rotation, but it's not really rotation because most healers don't have rotations. Holy Paladins used to have a rotation, but they kind of don't anymore. So first thing is, always keep Beacon of Light on the target, one of your tanks. You also want to use Holy Shock on cooldown. And you also want to keep Bestow Faith on cooldown. And then again, use Holy Light when a low damage is going out. And then use Flash of Light when for higher damage, when somebody's taking higher damage as needed. And usually you're going to be focusing on the tanks of what I just said. But if the tanks aren't actually taking any damage, Well, feel free to go ahead and holy shock or whatever everybody else. And another thing is, if holy shock is on cooldown and you're moving, you can use Light of the Martyr on people who need it. Sure, you'll be taking some damage, but you need to keep those people alive. So that was for single target tank healing. Now let's talk about a little bit about raid healing. Like I said, they don't really have that many AoEs, but you want to keep a beacon of light on a tank, or obvious because you'll be healing someone else while that's still healing the tank. Make sure your holy shock is still on cooldown on the raid on whoever you're using it on. Make sure to use judgment if you have that talent spec. Make sure you're using Light on cooldown, assuming there is enough damage to justify it. So you only want to use it when the group's taking a bunch of AoE damage. A general rule of thumb, make sure you're using it on at least, I would say at least 3 or more. I think just using it on 2 people would be a waste. You also want, for AoE, Holy Prism the boss, so that would actually heal another 5 allies, nearby allies within 15 yards. You also want to make sure you're doing that. And of course, when you're raid healing, make sure Holy Light and Flash Light as needed. Now, I kind of do want to, I don't think I've explained Light of the Martyr enough, because it is a really interesting, cool spell. So, Light of the Martyr is an insta-cast spell that heals you and damages you for 50% of the healing amount. It cannot be cast on yourself and does not trigger healing on your beacon target. I haven't really talked about it just that much because it's a cool spell, but the chances of you using it a lot are slim. Because, again, you're taking damage. The damage you take from it, the spell, can prove costly and dangerous. And say if you're progressing a boss. And the spell does not benefit from Beacon of Light. So, again, it's like the only time the spell is valuable is when you have to move and cast on the go. Like, you're going from point A to point B. Raid's taking a bunch of damage. And you have Light of Dawn, you have Holy Shock, and you have Light of the Martyr. And Holy Shock's on a 8-second cooldown. Light of Dawn's on a 10.8-second cooldown. And Light of the Martyr has no cooldown. So, in a situation where you're moving, you're on the move, it's a good spell. It's a really great spell. So, that's all I'm going to talk about that for now. I'll probably go into it more when Legion comes out, and especially since your group right now for Hellfire Citadel, your group's not going to be taking that much damage right now, and Light of the Martyr is not going to be really that great of a spell right now because you don't need it right now. We'll talk about it more when Legion comes out, because I think it's a really cool spell that is I'm trying to. It's kind of like, okay, you gotta know when you can use this at the right time. It's all about right times for this spell. If you use it at the wrong time, you're gonna die, and a dead healer is not good for your A team. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell me what I need to improve on. This is my. What is this? This is my 3rd video now. I did Resto Shaman and Resto Druid, and Holy Paladin is my 3rd one. Yeah, next video will be the Mistweaver Monk. So that's going to be pretty fun. Monks are in a pretty interesting spot. I wouldn't say good, interesting. But again, thanks for watching, and until next time, guys, see you later. Bye-bye.